It's Thursday night, and you're in your living room. The room is lit only by the glow of your phone. You open the banking app, punch your passcode in, and there it is. $10,000. 5 figures. You worked your ass off for 3 years to get here. 3 years. 3 years of no vacations with your friends, no going out to dinner, doing mental poverty math, in the grocery store aisle trying to figure out if you could afford the slightly nicer brand of coffee this week or if you had to stick to the generic. You've worked overtime, you've driven a car with a check engine light on for 18 months. You've put off almost every single pleasure a normal adult is meant to enjoy. And then you see the number, $10,000. The relief washes over you because you finally feel safe. For the first time, as an adult, you feel safe. At last, you have some real breathing space between disaster and you. And just as quickly, before you feel the relief in your chest, another thought comes in. Finally, you could trade that dying sedan for a reliable SUV. You could swap out the apartment furniture that has been killing your back for 2 years. You deserved it, and you could make a down payment on a slightly better life. You did the hard part. You made the sacrifice. Now you get the reward. You're tired of living like a broke person when the screen says you're not. But here's the punchline. The second you use that safety to buy a car or an upgrade in lifestyle, you are back on the trapdoor. Spoiler alert. It's not you, it's the math. And the maths are just savage. My name is Scott, and today we're going to do something that the entire financial marketing machine, credit card companies, and car dealerships really don't want you to see. We are going to talk about exactly what to do with your first $10K. The entire system is purposefully rigged to take that money away from you the second you manage to save it. We are going to break down the exact mathematical traps that are set to separate you from your cash, the psychological warfare that is waged on you every time you look at a screen, and the unbelievably boring, profoundly unsexy truth about how you actually turn your first $10,000 into a lifetime of financial freedom. Sick of watching your savings account get drained every time you think you are finally getting ahead? Hit that subscribe button, because today we are going to talk about the math, the truth, and the psychological traps that nobody bothered to teach you in school. Let's get to the heart of the matter right away. Your first $10,000 is not wealth. It's not an investment. It is not a deposit on a new lifestyle. It's a shield. It's the only thing between you and a financial system that happily charges you 24% interest on a minor life emergency. The biggest mistake middle class makes is to treat their first $10,000 as permission to spend. When people see a 5-figure balance in the bank, they think they've arrived. You haven't got anywhere. You've just barely bought yourself the right to stop running on the treadmill of financial panic. You don't buy a fire extinguisher because you're so happy you don't have a fire, then immediately sell it to buy a jet ski. Keep the fire extinguisher because the fire is coming. Life happens, and when it does, that $10,000 is the distinction between an inconvenience and 10 years of revolving debt. So let's start with the uncomfortable reality of the market right now, because context is everything. According to the latest figures from the Federal Reserve, 37% of adults couldn't pay for a $400 emergency with cash or an equivalent. Not $4,000. $400. That's less than a set of new tires. And nearly 4 in 10 Americans say they can't afford that amount without borrowing money, putting it on a credit card, or selling something. The median emergency savings in America is approximately $500. So when you get to $10,000, you are mathematically ahead of the vast majority of the country. But the difference between having $10,000 and holding on to $10,000 is where millions of people get financially slaughtered. You need to have $500 to use the system. Every ad, every finance offer, every 0% down promotion is designed for a consumer living paycheck to paycheck. They know that, with a surplus, the money will burn a hole in your pocket. The system is built to convert your hard-earned liquidity into their rock-solid stream of monthly income. Let's do the math, actually. Now watch how fast $10,000 goes poof if you follow the standard American script. Now take $8,000 of that $10,000 and put it down as a down payment on a $35,000 truck. Your argument is that your current car is old, it makes a funny noise when you turn left, and you want something reliable. You're so smart you didn't blow through all $10,000, and you put down a good chunk of change so your monthly payments are lower. You borrow the remaining $27,000 at 8% interest for 60 months. Your monthly payments would be around $547, but that is not the real price of this decision. That's just the baseline. It's a newer, more expensive car to insure, and your lender requires full coverage, so your insurance goes up about $80 a month. Your yearly registration is more. Taxes are higher. Gas costs are higher because it is a heavier vehicle. Let's do the math. Car payment $547. Extra insurance $80. Gas and maintenance premium, $75. Now you're bleeding over $700 a month from your cash flow. And you've got $2,000 left in your bank account. The car lot sent you congratulations. Your friend said it looks good, but mathematically you just burn yourself out. Here's the translated opportunity cost. Had you kept driving your old car, endured the odd noise it makes when you turn left, and instead invested that same $700 a month, that money becomes $1.5 million over 30 years at 10% returns. You don't have to pay $700 a month for a good commute. You are throwing $1.5 million away on a piece of depreciating metal sitting in a junkyard while you are trying to figure out how to afford retirement. Every dollar you pay each month is a dollar that can't compound. When you gave your dealership a $8,000 down payment, you didn't just lose $8,000. What you lost was the $140,000 that the $8,000 would have grown to over the 30 years if you had simply left it invested. You traded $250,000 in future wealth for the privilege of a new car smell that disappears in 3 weeks. Let me show you what this really looks like when you do the math on a real human life, month by month. This is Davey. His age is 31 years. He earns $72,000 a year. He is a perfectly normal guy, not reckless, not stupid, in a unique way. He had managed to save money for years and had finally hit $10,000 in his savings account. He feels like he earned a reward, so he takes $8,000 and puts it down on a truck. He still has $2,000 left in his savings. He still has a buffer, so he thinks he's all good. I'll just aggressively rebuild the savings, he tells himself. Now let's watch the cascade. Month 1. Truck payment by David. It's a squeeze, but he makes it work by trimming his grocery bill and canceling his streaming subscriptions. Month 4. His dog eats something wrong and needs emergency surgery. Vet bill, $2,500. David has $2,000. He spends the last of his savings, the final $10,000 he worked 3 years to accumulate, and charges the rest, $500 on a credit card. Month 7. Truck needs new brakes and tires. Apparently, even newish cars need maintenance too, and trucks are made of expensive parts. That's $1,200. He has no savings, so puts it all on the credit card. His card has a $1,700 balance at 24.9% interest now. The minimum payment alone is taking a bite out of his monthly survival budget. In month 9, he gets sick and misses a week of work, and because he is an hourly contractor, his paycheck is a little light. He can't make the truck payment and the minimum credit card payment and pay the rent all at the same time. He has to put his groceries, his gas, and his utility bill on the credit card to get through the month. That leaves a balance of $3,100. Month 14, his rent increases $150 per month. He has no budget room to absorb the rent increase because he is carrying a $3,100 credit card balance compounding at 24.9%. He begins floating basic living expenses on the card permanently. Month 24, David's got $6,500 in high-interest debt. He's underwater on the truck because his loan payments haven't caught up with its depreciation. His $10,000 savings account is a thing of the past. That's what that feels like in reality day to day. It feels like an anvil on your chest when you wake up in the morning. It's like pulling out your banking app in the grocery store parking lot to see if you can afford eggs. It's like lying awake at 2 in the morning doing the math in your head to see if you can push the electric bill to next week without getting shut off. David didn't make a series of bad, stupid decisions. He made one purchase, under the guise of being a responsible adult, that was fundamentally flawed, and it took away his entire shield. After that, every month was just him falling down. Now, you might be looking around and thinking, but everyone else has a nice car. My colleague just bought a boat. My neighbor just remodeled their kitchen. Let me break down the math of envy for you. Let's talk about the scaffolding that makes their lifestyle possible. You're comparing your one real, honest income to an invisible iceberg of debt. When you see a 28-year-old in a $60,000 SUV, you are not looking at wealth. It's a 7-year auto loan at 9% interest. You are looking at a household that is one paycheck away from total default. You don't see the $15,000 in revolving credit card debt they carry month after month, making minimum payments just to keep the lights on, as the principal compounds against them. You don't see the parental wealth transfers, the secret allowances from their parents that pay for their cell phone bill and their car insurance so they can afford to look rich to their peers. You don't see the buy now, pay later installments stacked 4 deep on their checking account, meaning their next paycheck is already spent before it even gets there. The whole American middle-class lifestyle is today a performance financed by silent panic. Real money is a whisper. Fake money is a shout. The louder the logo, the louder the lifestyle, the less real wealth behind it. We have a culture of high earners, who are broke as a joke because they instantly upgraded their house and their car and their vacations to match their income. You're running the race fair, and you think you're losing because they're driving faster. You are not losing. They just put a GPS tracker in their shoe and drained 3 credit cards to do it. You're comparing your behind-the-scenes reality with their carefully curated, heavily funded highlight reel. The auto industry profits when you finance a car you don't need. When your emergency fund is gone, and you have to put a medical bill or a vet bill on plastic, the credit card companies make money. If you stuff $10,000 into a yawn-inducing high-yield savings account and leave it alone, they make nothing. The entire financial media ecosystem profits from your anxiety, selling you stories about how you're losing the status race. In a lending transaction, no single party has financial incentives aligned with yours. When the deal is done, they all go home. You go home to the monthly installment. This isn't personal failure. This is the system performing exactly what it was designed to do. You didn't design a society where you need a mortgage-sized loan for reliable transportation. You did not ask for a financial system that feeds the psychological need to feel like you're winning. But you're the one paying the tolls. The system is designed to extract as much as it can from you for as long as it can. The second you exchange your cash for a payment, you are opting back into their revenue model. Every default setting, the minimum credit card payment, the 84-month auto loan, the free trial that auto-renews, is perfectly calibrated to take your wealth month by month until you have nothing left but the things you bought to impress people you don't even like. Let me tackle the 3 objections you're actually thinking right now. Not the nice ones. The ones that are real. First, you are thinking, but Scott, inflation is eating my money. If I leave $10,000 in the bank, it is losing purchasing power every single day. Yes, inflation is real. Money loses its purchasing power over time. But a 24% interest rate on a credit card, because you didn't have cash for an emergency, will destroy your financial life infinitely faster than 3% inflation ever could. Cash isn't an investment, it's an insurance policy. You don't complain that your car insurance isn't paying you dividends, because its job is to protect you, not make you rich. Second, you think, I need a reliable car for work. My old one is a time bomb waiting to go off. Let's do some math here. The average American spends almost $1,000 a month on new car ownership when you factor in payments, insurance, and depreciation. That's $12,000 a year. You could replace the whole engine on your old car once a year for $4,000 and be $8,000 ahead mathematically to buy a new one. Reliability isn't a math problem, it's a psychology problem. Third, you're thinking, I'll just dump the whole $10,000 into the market right now and grow it faster. I don't need a cash shield. You put your emergency fund in the stock market, and the stock market drops 30% the month you lose your job. This is how the universe is. You'll be forced to sell your investments at a huge loss just to keep the lights on and buy groceries. Your shield must be cash, totally immune to market volatility. Let's kill the notion that you need to spend money to validate your existence or build wealth. Look up Ronald Read. He was a Vermont janitor and gas station attendant. He never made more than $20,000 in his entire life. He drove a rusty old 2007 Toyota Yaris. His jacket was pinned together with safety pins. His coworkers teased him about how stupidly cheap he was. Ronald Read died with an estate worth $8 million. He bought dividend-paying stocks every week for 70 years and never sold. The same coworkers who'd teased him about his rusted car had been working next to a multi-millionaire for decades and not known it. The behavior is right, income is not the result. Or learn about Grace Groner, who bought 3 shares of Abbott Laboratory stock in 1935 for $180. She didn't sell any stock, she just reinvested the dividends. She died with $7.2 million. These people prove that the performative aspects of wealth have absolutely nothing to do with being wealthy, and institutional data supports this. According to the Dalbar annual study, the average equity investor lags the index by about 8.5 percentage points just due to emotional decisions. They buy when they get greedy at the top of a bubble and sell when they get scared at the bottom of a crash. A cash cushion keeps you from making emotional decisions with your investments because you don't have to sell your stocks to pay for a broken water heater. So why is it so damn hard to just leave the $10,000 in the bank? Why does the money burn a hole in our pockets as soon as we cross that 5-figure threshold? It's just that simple human psychology. Your brain is not programmed for long-term sacrifice. There's something called present bias. The math is screaming that you are being an idiot, but your brain would rather have $500 today than $50,000 in 40 years. Your brain was built 200,000 years ago, when the biggest financial decision was whether to eat the berries today or save them for tomorrow. There is no compounding interest structure. Add in lifestyle inflation. Studies show that 78% of people say they will save more when they get a raise, but almost no one does unless it's completely automated. Your brain sees windfalls and instantly spends them on slightly better versions of the things you already own. At $10,000, you want to get your brain to produce something physical, something you can see and touch, a nicer car, a better watch, a kitchen remodel, to prove to the world that you are doing okay. There's also doom spending. 1 in 5 Americans are compulsive buyers, driven by nothing but economic anxiety. We are borrowing because we are in too much debt, and it is putting a strain on us. It's retail therapy on a civilization scale, and it's destroying our future. So here's what you actually do with your first $10,000. I'm going to give you the exact steps. Step 1. Put at least $6,000 of it in a high-yield savings account at an online bank like Marcus, Ally, or Capital One. Don't keep it in your regular checking account. If you can see it when you check in to buy groceries, you will use it eventually. Bank it in another bank where it takes 3 days to transfer the money so you can't impulse buy. This money is your protection. It's not an investment. This is not a vacation fund. This is your emergency fund. It's only there to be there, make a little bit of interest, 4% or 5%, and keep you from getting into high-interest debt when your life falls apart. Step 2. Use the rest of the $4,000 to pay off any high-interest consumer debt you have, ruthlessly. Credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later balances, anything above 7% interest. If your credit card balance is above $4,000, then you use the whole $10,000 to pay it off, leaving maybe $1,000 as a starter emergency fund. It's mathematically insane to have your money in a savings account paying 4% while you're paying 24% on your credit card. Third step, once you're free of high-interest debt and have a fully funded and isolated $6,000 shield, open a Roth IRA at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. Doing this online takes exactly 20 minutes. You are putting in after-tax money, meaning everything grows tax-free forever, saving you hundreds of thousands over your lifetime. Step 4. Link your bank and set up a monthly transfer of the money you were previously using to pay down your debt. If you were paying $400 a month to credit cards, that's $400 that now goes to the Roth IRA automatically, before you even see it in your checking account. Step 5. Buy one broad index fund tracking the S&P 500, FXAIX, VOO, or SWPPX. You can pick any of them, they all follow the same index, and it costs almost nothing in fees. Step 6. Delete the account. Don't check it every day. When the news says the market is down, don't get panicked. Let it build as you go about your life. Every day you wait to put together your financial shield is a day you're walking a tightrope with no net. The math gets exponentially worse, not linearly worse, the longer you wait to start compounding. There is a version of you that lives 10 years in the future. He has a fully funded emergency reserve. They're free of credit card debt. Their investment portfolio is quietly working harder than they are. They are taking guilt-free vacations. And when the car breaks down, it's an inconvenience, not a financial disaster. They are free. And there is another version. In 10 years, still driving a car with money owed on it, juggling credit card balances, affording medications by skipping meals, one emergency away from total catastrophe, wondering where all the money went. The answer is car payments and DoorDash and subscriptions that seemed important in 2026 but don't exist anymore. You are both of these people. The only thing that makes one real is what you choose to do with that $10,000 today. You decide. The math doesn't stop. Time doesn't stop. If this changed anything for you, like and subscribe. It's free. It takes 2 seconds. And unlike the financial media or the car salesman, I don't make money when you're afraid. Go be dull.